Greetings, mortals, I am the Fallen Shogun and welcome to Domina. Now this will be an early tutorial into Domina to teach you the ways of playing it. Now, unfortunately I have to go through the campaign again because it's kind of teaching me how things are done, but we're going to ignore that and teach you the best ways to fight. Now, one thing you're going to want to do in this, at the very beginning, is pick an ability. Now, most people obviously want their gladiators to be balanced. The problem with what that happens is, because they're balanced, they're easily killed by certain high level gladiators. So even though I don't have it, the first thing you want to do when you get access to it is to permanently train up their AI. Now, depending on whether you go for like direct control of one gladiator or not, depends on the AI, but the AI will be there and is the most important stat outside of strength, because the AI control basically tells them how often they attack, how quickly they attack, and whether they defend and then retaliate and so on. A low AI may mean they stand there and get stabbed in the face. So when the AI stat comes in, get it to 100, and then you will be wanting to aim up to getting strength done. Strength makes you have more hit points, does more attack damage, and you take less damage. So strength is literally a catch-all to everything else. Now, depending on whether the actual beta expansion is released or not, you'll either have access to the Thrakes, Retiarus and Mamillo, or the other 4 classes as well. So we're obviously going to straight up get the strength going on all of them and move on. So yeah, you want to get the AI up first. I'm going to skip this. This is the storyline. You want to get the AI up when you can to 100, then the strength up. There we go. So this guy here is your trainer, your doctore. So you want to have automatic gladiator training so that they're constantly training when you're not around. And then you want to slowly start building up. So humility would be good if your guys surrendered more, but there's actual fights in the game where you cannot surrender. But once you have your doctore, immediately get all your guys meditating. That gets the AI up. You want your AI to have better attack efficiency, attack more often, and so on. So you want your guys to be doing AI straight away. Now you'll also, when you get them, there'll be the legate and the magistrate. They basically do the same kind of thing. The magistrate gives you basic peasant slaves. I recommend always having 2 or 3 of those so you can throw them into fights and have them die. Fights you know you cannot win. Now the legate gives you fully trained, fully equipped gladiators of different levels and different equipment. So he's very good at getting brand new people on the field if you've just lost a few people. Now let's see, we saw 500 coins. So yeah, he's good for getting new soldiers on the field. But yeah, you want to have at least 1 highly equipped soldier. You want to have him the best sword and probably some better armour. You don't want to spend all of it because your people require food and drink straight away. Only costs like 1 gold per time. But yeah, you want to have 1 really good soldier or gladiator on the field. Definitely protect the head. The head will mean you get almost insta-killed. So humility. And then you got to decide what you want to do. Now I always recommend going for mind control, because then you can directly take control of any one gladiator. But the problem with that is, if they're not that good, you might die. Now this guy here, basic equipment, basic sword, as you can see. He has 200 health, 47 damage, and has some basic armor. Now my gladiator can do more damage and absorb more damage, but his AI isn't the best. And his aggressiveness, if you actually look at the bottom, is only 44, so there's a high chance he won't follow up on attacks. So this guy could get killed. Now if you wanted to, I would have sacrificed my Bonulsus, because let's face it, he's got no equipment or anything. But we're going to play this out. But you want to have your AI up as high as you can, so these guys will actively kill quickly. But I am weaker on health. Looks like I have better armour and sword, so I might win. But yeah, you only want to fight the battles you can win. So that was good. And this will also introduce me to the magistrate, I feel. And if you win, you occasionally get resources and obviously new gladiators. But your goal of the game It doesn't actually explain it, but it kind of does in the story, but doesn't fully explain it. Is you have 365 days in the top right to fight the championship. Now there are 2 battles in the championship, and you need to be aware of them, because otherwise your very first battle, when you think you win, will immediately screw you over. Now this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear it, obviously like cut forward like 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, so here we go. So you will fight the final battle, and then you will be betrayed. Every slave you free comes to save you when you've been betrayed, so you need to free good gladiators to fight for you at the very end, or you will be killed. So that's how it goes. There are 2 different fights you have to do. You have to have the gladiators to fight the final battle, and you have to be freeing the good ones so that they can fight when you get betrayed. Otherwise you win the final fight, have released nobody, and you have to fight them with your Lannister with a basic sword. It doesn't go well. So yeah, you have to make sure you're freeing people well, and you have to make sure you're fighting well. So yeah, there are 2 alternatives. Now as you can see, the AI is slowly going up on these. When it's 100, go fully into strength. The other stuff is good, like movement speed, weapons increase attack damage, obviously defenses, we're able to resist, but strength is almost entirely all of them. Extra hit points, extra defense, extra attack damage. Go strength, make your guys have thousands of hit points. So yeah, meditate, strength. And then when you get the chance, you'll be able to buy employees. Oh, he's easy to kill. Now you want to keep on sending the same person into the fights as often as possible, so that they level up faster. Every time they win a fight, they level up some of their basic abilities. So yeah, this one here will give you 450 gold, 20 wine, and 2 more gladiators. Let's begin. Obviously, he's been given no equipment. So yeah, always fight the fights you can. If you don't fight a fight, like just straight up saying no, you offend the person whose match it is, which could either be the legate or the magistrate. So as you can see, this person already hates me a little bit, so you give them wine to like you. I can buy random people, and I can do the same with the legate when he turns up any second now. There he is. Ignore him. But yeah, they are neutral. If you give them wine, it costs more and more each time, and they like you. The more they like you, the greater the chance of gladiator patronage, where they basically pay for a gladiator. No food, no water, stuff like that. The higher level gladiators require a lot of resources. You can do exhibition matches for them, it doesn't really matter. But you want them to be nice enough that they'll give you people. And obviously, you don't want them to hate you and try and screw you over. Because there are events in the game where you can, like, maybe a slave or some soldiers find their way to your house. You can, like, accuse people or so on. They will either give you good things or bad things. Actually, let's have you meditate. Always make sure they're meditating. Always go for 100 meditation. And obviously you want to have certain ones. So the Thrakes is sword and board. He is a bog standard gladiator, sword, shield. They are very good for absorbing a lot of damage, and they hit really, really fast with their swing. The Murmillo, of which this guy is one, is a 2-handed specialist. They start off with 2 blades, then they work up to literal 2-handed weapons. They swing slower, but they hit even harder. But because of that, they have a lot less armour and equipment, as you can see. And they cost a fair bit more to upgrade. So they are a lot weaker, but they can do more damage in the long run. Then we have the Retiaris. Now, these are extremely powerful when backed up by a Thrakes or Murmillo. They have a net. The net, when thrown, immediately nets a gladiator to the floor. You can upgrade it to have like 3 nets, but that takes a lot of resources. So one of these, with their very long pike, backed up by a Thrakes, means they can literally seal one of the gladiators down, and the Thrakes can probably kill that one immediately. So you want to have very good powerful Thrakes with a heavy armour and shield, backed up by Retiarises who can seal people down. Now Velite, they have a spear, and they also have like throwing javelins. They're kind of like a cross between a Murmillo and a Retiarius. They aren't too powerful and are more support troops. A Sagittarius is straightforward and archer. They shoot arrows. And they carry like a small knife as well. So they die if not supported. So they're only really useful in bigger battles when someone's supporting them. And then you have the scissor, who is a Mamillo, only using daggers. Obviously a charioteer rides the chariot. So you want to have a nice healthy amount of Thraxes backed up by Retiariuses to throw the nets and obviously keep the people down. I'm skipping the story for obvious reasons. Now you want to slowly go through upgrades. Always like get the less stamina things, because you want your people to have more stamina. You want people to have more damage. So blade control is a must, aimed attacks a must, aimed defense is a must, and the evasive roll is insanely a must. So you can roll under enemy attacks. If you are planning to directly control your people, I'd recommend going straight up to rolling attack. Because then you can roll through an enemy, damage them, and then stab them from behind. Rolling attacks are very powerful. And obviously as you go through, you're looking at probably unlocking the Retiarius. Dismemberment is good for taking off arms. Taking away their shields is really good to disarm opponents, because obviously their shields are very powerful to block. Same with the weapon. Then you can either go for automatic yield at less than 10% HP, which is not that useful. Berserk, which is a massive agility boost, but your people never yield and just die. And so on. So you want to slowly build up by grabbing certain things which are powerful in certain ways. Like this here's attack speed for all weapons, very useful. Critical strike, very useful. Jupiter's blessings, when you get them, are straight up boosters to your character. Some give extra health, some give extra training speed, which are useless if you're going meditation strength. They are very useless. And some will give you like poison blades, barbed armor, stuff like that. So if people touch you, they take damage. I recommend very much getting stamina and damage on your main damage dealers, which will be Platus and Orphidius in our situation. Oh, here's Greg, basic Pugia. So always see what they've got. Basic Pugia is a starting weapon. Now I'm going to take direct control of this guy. As you can see, his health's gone up. And you click on your guy, you have control. Click off like that. You can only ever directly control one gladiator at once. Obviously direct control is very easy to kill gladiators. Very, very easy to kill gladiators. As you saw. And I got extra strength as well because it's gone up. So you're aiming for the course you. So the goal of the game is to get to the championship in 365 days. But there's also other things you can do. You need to do at least 3 regional champions to be considered for the final championship in Rome. The first 3 are dead easy. It's 1-on-1. This guy, see, right-hander, single one. This guy has, let's see, spear, shield, and net. And this one is superior camera, sword, and board. Those are all easily killed once you've leveled up your soldier with high AI and high strength. The speed at which they can start swinging is faster than the enemy can follow. Now right now it hasn't given us a Jupiter because it's slowly going through the campaign. But yes, you want to make sure you have 2 guys really, really powerful. Let's get the aimed attack. I prefer having 3 or 4 guys really powerful, because at the end you will be requiring to use 15. And obviously if you miscalculate and lose your primary gladiator, you will be screwed. So you always need at least 2 backups. Preferably 3 or 4, so like a top row. Now when you get it, you have employees. You can have up to 3 employees in the game. You can actually hire advanced employees. These ones here, these emerituses, like the advanced architect emeritus, will allow you to buy more space to put more employees, to buy more space to put more gladiators. Right now you only have 15 training and 3 employees. But if you're going to start off, I recommend the Sacerdos, 100 gold. Because the Sacerdos, you can actually have him to pray pretty cheap, and it will randomly upgrade your people's abilities as they're training. Now this guy, as you can see, is a bit too powerful, so rather than upsetting the legate, we're going to send in a sacrifice. That means we've done the terms, and this guy was never going to be powerful. Come on, Numa, I believe in you. I don't. So this guy would probably have killed anyone I sent in just by being more powerful. So always have sacrificials, which obviously snacks for them, sacrifices for you. It's very simple. So yeah, always have sacrifices. These guys are omming. You should be doing that, so always have spares. Let's get a spare. Higher. So yeah. Sacerdos is good because these upgrades will very much randomly upgrade the strength of your people. That was an event. I could have engaged either the legate or the magistrate and upset one of them. I just ignored both because it's a bit too much of a hassle. But the other employees you'd really want is the agent allows you to do 3 pit fights. Pit fights are basically underground fights. You can spend some money to do them. And that gives you 3. And he also occasionally steals some equipment. He's dirt cheap, 13 gold. I recommend picking him up at the early stage to steal weaponry and armour. 13 gold at the very beginning, when some of this stuff is like 77 or 100 or so on, is dirt cheap. Now, you can only do it occasionally because this bar starts getting more known and he will get found and then obviously executed, and whoever he steals from hates you. But he is very useful for the early days to upgrade armour and weaponry, because the expense of some of these is a lot. See that 100 for a camo. If you can get me a camo, that is good. I also recommend very much that you're only training people you're willing to use. Like this guy here is a class. This guy here is a class. This guy here is not. So they will not be getting armour and weaponry because their classes don't exist, so they don't get any. So only have classes of those you actually want to equip and prepare. Now another of the employees I'd recommend is eventually getting the architect. The architect allows you to build buildings. Stuff like training, so you can have faster training of strength and so on, and better wells. He is very useful, probably not needed at the very beginning. But the Faber is also very good. You buy him, he will randomly upgrade weaponry. He will also repair equipment which takes damage, which is very important. And he makes all upgrades cheaper. He is very important, so yes. Look for the architect. Look for, I've already forgotten his name, for the Sacerdos. And Faber, Sacerdos and Architect. Obviously the agent at the very beginning to steal a few things until it gets too hard to do so. So he will auto repair and will auto upgrade. He will only auto upgrade people with classes. So you don't have to worry about these guys stealing things. But you can turn it off. You can turn off auto upgrades. But yeah. You kind of want to obviously, if you're going to get rid of some of these people who are useless, give them a class, breaks, give them some weaponry, like that, and then grant them freedom. That guy will help me at the end. You always want to make sure you're helping yourself at the end. So this guy is slowly upgrading my people. Make sure you always have food, wine and water at any one time, because you lose a lot of morale if you have no food or water. You want to keep that morale up so they're happy. If the morale is down, they will try to escape. Oh, agent was caught stealing immediately. Absolutely useless. And that's the goal of obviously the agent. You have to decide whether it's worthwhile. Because as you saw, he was useless. And obviously always keep on upgrading your more powerful people. Now you can do pit fights. I'd always recommend doing pit fights because you need to upgrade your people. You're at a massive, massive disadvantage throughout the entire campaign. Ooh. Oh, they both hate me. Oh, this is bad. Good luck. Look how many lions there are. So yeah, some of the battles will be entirely unfair against you. And you should never ever face them. Now, if I'd actually been fighting that, maybe I could have survived long enough with a shield and the lions would have killed my opponents. But yeah, some fights are entirely against you, so always make sure you're not prepared to go in do not give your all in every fight. You will lose a lot. And also attend pit fights after you've done main fights. Otherwise, you might not have the people to do the actual fights. So we're going to send these guys in, whose AI is slowly going up. And they should wipe out these guys who have one weapon between them. But yeah, always try and do as many pit fights as you can when you have the space. Wow. Simple. This is on the normal difficulty. The brutal fights is off, because the brutal fights has changed since I recorded. But yes, when the events come up, read through them. I do not, because I know roughly what they are. But you don't really want to take sides unless you're actively currying favour of one or the other. Like I say, the magistrate allows you to get basic slaves. The legate allows you to get, oopsie, upset about that, actual proper gladiators. Now, because I'm slowly training these guys, I'm going to have you go to here. You won't be fighting for bits. If you heal them, they don't train. They stop training. But the Sacerdos gives automatic healing. Which means, of course, he's going to slowly heal while training. It's not going to be fast healing, but it's still healing. So as you can see, the Sacerdos is fully making my people better. Like this guy got defense level 2 just there. See, defense level 12. Platus, who isn't even learning that, is becoming a powerhouse of combat. So always have the Sacerdos to do that for you. Basic Pugio. And I can take 2 people in with me. Bring them in. Let's see how well you do without me. If Orphidius dies, who cares? Oh, we've been chained to the floor, okay. He still died. He got killed by the people trying to free them. They can turn on brutal fights, which makes battles last a lot longer. But yeah, let's see. Gets prey to Vulcans, we get the agility going up. He's going to auto-upgrade. He now has a canvas skirt. It takes a while, but it is obviously important. And you want to have rebuild nets on as well. When your Retiarius throw their nets, you have to buy another one. With this, you get the nets for free. A vintner's actually delivered a cast for expensive wine. Tell him it's the wrong ludus. Accept the wine and give it to the legate. There we go. So the legate was very happy at my thoughtful gift. So you have to choose sides or do nothing at all. Now we're going for the Retiarius because, as I've said, they are very useful. He's still a stranger, steal some armour. Pray to Neptune, and obviously get some more water, green, and wine. But yeah, one battle, make sure you're prepared, make sure you have people prepared to die for you, make sure you're slowly levelling up your primary person. Obviously you want to have the other ones be useful as well, but you also make sure your primary person is the most kitted out gladiator you have, and you're prepared to use them at every battle you can win. You want it to be always fighting, but never fight a battle you cannot win. If your main guy goes down, say in this fight, which is 2 of these guys, it'll be pretty bad. In fact, I don't think we can win this, but I'm going to do it anyway just to prove a point. So these guys will immediately net. See here, this says seriously chained gladiators, which means my 4 guys will have trouble against these because they'll all be chained in one place, and these guys have spears. So I'm just going to reject it outright. Never fight past your point. So this guy's going to stay here, constantly boosting people. This guy now's at 100 AI. Go immediately into strength, because strength is everything in this game. It's like more than anything else. He just got better upgrade. Yeah, he just works. This guy got a better upgrade, which means he now has Centurion's mail. So the agent will now be useless to me. I will probably go into the architect so I can speed up training. And obviously eventually I'll get the Jupiter ones, which will allow me to actually give upgrades to my characters. But what you want to do, of course, is train AI, strength, and meditate strength, see what the aggressiveness is. You obviously want to get the more aggressive people out there. Actually having high aggressive Thraxes is really good because they're constantly trying to get inside the enemy's battle line, obviously trying to get inside their actual strike. If they're not too aggressive and they have short weapons like this, the Retiariuses will destroy them purely because they have the range. Seriously, Chain Gladiator, we're going to send him in. And I'm going to take control. Actually, no, I'm going to leave control. And he might die because he's chained. I just want to show how this goes. There's the net. Okay, he's been hit. Oh! Oh! See that? If he hadn't been seriously aggressive with that strike, he'd probably have been trying to still run away from a spear. And he got extra training as well, so now it's even more powerful. So you want to make sure, obviously, he's being looked after. That was stupid of me. I shouldn't have done that. This guy's obviously becoming more trained afterwards. He'll be useful as a secondary, and he'll still be useful as backup. But again, I want to still be training people so I can release them. I'm not training enough people, and it's been about 30 days. So at this point in time, as soon as he hits about 300, I'm probably going to get rid of this guy, start upgrading this so he can actually do much cheaper upgrades, and get the architect in so I can start building stones. In fact, I'll get rid of him straight away. He'll be back, and I'm going to hire the architect. Now you don't need the architect after a while he builds and he leaves. The gathered stones make strength training quicker, and the stones are the cheapest thing. It just takes time. So once the stones are there, strength is quicker to do. And as you can see, this becomes a good snowball effect. It builds stones on each and every upgrade spot. Let's grab you. And obviously we're slowly grabbing highly leveled gladiators, which you can either release to save us or keep to fight at the end, depending on choice. But always make sure he likes you a little bit. Wow, he really hates me, doesn't he? Likes you just enough that he can eventually, you know, give you okay gladiators and doesn't try and screw you over. Let's put you there. Just going to reject this purely because I'm talking. So yeah, Sacerdos, Faber, Architect, keep on upgrading. I would definitely advise getting the evasive roll. You want blade control, very much so. You want disarming weapon and disarming shield so that you can actually take the enemy's equipment out of their hands. The roll, like I say, is very important. The deep breathing is very good because it does give automatic HP in the field of battle. It's not very good in, obviously, instant engagements, but if you're able to get an extra 30 or so HP back before the match starts, and your guy takes no damage so he can use the actual match to heal, that's very, very useful. So this should be enough for the basic equipment. Obviously this Jupiter thing should have been here, but it's not. Probably have to do one of the things. Always attend a pit fight if you can. I'm going to ignore that to show how it works. And always make sure you have enough food, water and wine to do things. If you run out of food and water, your people get upset. They will try and leave. Always make sure you have the right employees. You might decide you want to have faster healing or slightly better AI proficiency and morale if you're having issues with that. But the Sacerdos is, or the Sacerdos, I'm probably saying it wrong, is very good. The Faber, of course, is very good for upgrades and repairs. And of course, the Architect is very good for gathering stones. As you can see, there's stones down here. When he stops healing, you can actually move the stones. It will speed up the strength training. And like I say, AI is good for non-controlled characters. Then strength is everything. As long as you have the Sacerdos and you have these guys fighting, they will gain levels in the other abilities as well. But strength, of course, will give them health, resistance and damage. Always go meditate then strength. I've been the Fallen Shogun. This should hopefully help you through Domina. Definitely prepare for the finale in both ways, or you will get screwed over in one way. And this here shows you that Legate and the Magistrate both have their eyes on the same girl. I either keep them, share the girl, they both or go with one of the two people. So there we go. So they like me, he absolutely hates me. Oh, he's vengeful. Let's not have that. So choose your choices. Always make sure he likes you so he can grab new people. As you can see, both of these would have been very good if I had the money, so I'd have to do a fight to grab one because I obviously want to have more better trained gladiators. Either way, I've been the Fallen Shogun. This has been a basic start tutorial, I guess, for Domina. Either way, ciao for now. Be awesome, be epic, and I'm going back to my campaign.